Well now, would you look at that? It seems the old tavern's chosen tonight's tale for us, my friends. This egg showing up here in my tavern and glowing. Well, it can only mean one thing, traveller. It means the tavern wants I should tell you the tale of Aostra, the Dawnbringer, goddess of spring, and some say fertility. Settle in, my friends, fill your mugs. You're going to enjoy this one. Long, long ago, before the scribes set ink to parchment, there was Eostre. She was the dawn itself, bringing warmth after the chill of winter. And an old Anglo-Saxon monk once wrote of her the venerable Bede, and the month April is supposedly named for her, Eosturmonath. But beyond that one mention by the venerable Bede, there are no other historical mentions of the goddess Aostra. Yet language carries whispers of her. Eosturmonath with the Franks, Eosturmonath in Old German, even when written records fade. Language, well, it will always remember. Names will always carry meaning that thread themselves into the greater tapestry of myth and memory. And though the king's men, the historians and the scholars, they do love so to debate, my kin, we carry on just the stories. So allow me to tell you her story, at least one of them, as we remember it. In days when the spring was young, my clan tells of a story when Aostra was walking the fields of Ireland, preparing them for the return of the Honourable Bede, or Brigade, goddess of the spring procession, coating the fields in beautiful white clovers. But one morning, beneath the soft dawn, as she prepared, she heard the cries of a wren. It had been trapped, its wings tangled in the coils of a vicious serpent. And with a touch as gentle as sunlight itself, Eostre turned the serpent into a ray of sunshine, and it drifted off into the brightness of the morn. But the little wren was wounded, too broken to fly. So Eostre reshaped her into a swift, sure-footed hare. While the wren was grateful, she found herself longing. She missed laying her eggs every spring, because it was her special gift to the waking world. And so, touched by the wren's sorrow, Aostra granted her the ability that once per spring she could lay her eggs as she had before. And those eggs, they would be radiant as the brilliant dawn, spectacular hidden treasures amongst the fresh clovers. Gifts to remind all who found them that the spring will always return, and that kindness, when directed properly, has a magic of its own. Now, while that tale does have roots that are quite old, it wasn't really popularized until the works of individual folklorists such as Jacob Grimm. But it is one of the many stories that tells us how hares and eggs became related to springtime. Not merely symbols, but echoes of an old compassion. They will remind us of how love can triumph over cruelty, and how the warmth of spring drives away the winter's chill. Eostra's true legacy lies not in grand idols or carved statues, but instead in quiet gestures carried forward generation after generation. So whenever children hunt for painted eggs in the spring, or they smile at the thought of a hare rushing through a spring field, what they are doing is they are keeping alive that kindness that this great ancestor passed on to us, whether they know it or not. Small acts and humble gestures. That is how myth and story carry on into the future and survive, not just in culture, but in us. It's remarkable, isn't it? How often magic grows from simple, kind deeds. So the next time that you spot a hare darting through the tall grass, or you find a colourful egg hidden amongst the bushes, spare just a thought for Eostra's gentle spirit. Perhaps it will inspire a little bit of joy and love in your own heart. And if you carry an Easter story of your own, my friends, leave it here with us, in the warm walls of the tavern. We'll keep it safe for you. You can leave it down below if you like. And until we meet again, traveller, may your tankard never run dry, and may you stay bloodthirsty forever, my friends. We'll see you for the next one.